Ah, yes, the Audi R8. Finally, it's here. This is the V10.
This is the 10-cylinder. It's got a real 6-speed manual transmission. Who knows if we're ever going to see that again?
I really like it. I like it a lot. I like the gated shift. I like the knurled aluminum knob.
Every time you shift, it gives that nice click noise.
Get that click sound. It is just awesome. And the V10 spools up very nicely. Naturally aspirated.
Yeah.
Say it was 5.2 liter.
It's 525 horsepower. And I want to say the red line's like 8,700 RPM. So
yeah.
To get 10 cylinders to wind out like that, it just sounds amazing.
And again, that's not, an F1 3-liter 10-cylinder motor. That's over 5 liters, spools up very quickly. Car just feels balanced, and this is the very definition of having your cake and eating it too, in terms of you could drive it in traffic.
So easy to drive.
It's so easy to drive. It's so easy to manage. Air conditioning going, satellite radio, no heating issues. Nothing's temperamental about it. And I don't even know, honestly, from a maintenance standpoint, the difference between driving this car and just driving an Audi.
The warranty, I believe, is the same. I think it's still 4-year, 50,000 mile. Like, it's still just a regular Audi warranty. The 10-cylinder is the same engine that's derived from the Lamborghini Gallardo, which we know, but it's also the same one that was in the Audi S6.
Right. So there's not, other than the scheduled oil changes and stuff like that, there's not a bunch of exotic stuff that comes along with this car.
I don't think so. It's not like some of the other cars we've seen, even the Nissan GTR or the Aston Martin. Like, you drive the Aston Martin and there's something like, what is it, like the first 2,500 miles, you have to at least take it in for its checkup, tighten the bolts.
Well, the Aston Martin is like, if you let it sit for more than 2 days, the battery goes dead. And they don't tell you, then at a certain point, most Ferraris and Aston Martins and a lot of cars are this way, where they go, oh, if you don't drive this car every 2 days, you got to keep it on the trickle charger. And you're like, well, thanks, douchebag, who sold me the car, for not telling me this information, because my Aston Martin battery's gone dead 200,000 times. It's never started when I've started. And it's not a Ford Explorer and you have 4 kids, meaning if there was a car that you were going to let sit for more than 2 days, it would be the DB9. It would be the Ferrari 599. It would be the Ferrari 612. Like, obviously, these are weekend, go out with the guma, leave the wife at home kind of cars. These aren't everyday cars. So just by virtue of the fact that they're not everyday cars, they're going to be dead every other weekend, because you're keeping it in Palm Springs and you go out there and you drive your Denali out there and then you hop in and it's dead every time. This seems like a nice sort of middle ground between something like the Nissan GTR and the aforementioned like Gallardo or Ferrari 430.
And I think,
is it, 436?
Yeah, or
what do we got?
458 is the new one.
Yeah, Italia.
This is probably as close to a Porsche Turbo S that's out there. The Turbo S, because of its all-wheel drive, might be a little faster. Of course, the GTR is. Yeah. But this car is actually easier to drive than the GTR. It's more comfortable.
And I would probably say, as I've said before, this car's beautiful, but they've not changed the shape in about 4 years.
No, I think the 2014 model is going to get a mild facelift. It's not going to be too radical, but one of the things that you might see is no more manual transmission. They're going to go to a dual clutch.
Yeah, I would.
Which I would miss.
If I was watching at home at AdamCarolla.com, I would get myself a 2009 8-cylinder version of this, just owned by one podiatrist in Palm Springs, that put 7,000 miles on it.
That kept
still
it in
under
Palm
warranty.
Springs,
that kept it inside, and that's it. That's it. And I think I'd get it for $91,000 and call myself a genius. And if I felt like I didn't spend enough money, I'd go to one of those guys that bolts on the supercharger.
Yeah, like VF Engineering, one of those guys. I'll tell you though,
and spend another 12 grand.
The 8-cylinder versus the 10-cylinder, the performance doesn't really compare. Like, this car is a monster.
But once you get the 8-cylinder for 90 grand and you spend 11.5 on the intercooler and the bolt-on turbocharger or the bolt-on supercharger, and then you get another 100 foot-pounds of torque than this car has currently, and another 12 horsepower, I think you'd be fine with it.
This is a 2012, so in 2014 when the facelift comes out, you probably get a good deal on this too.
Yeah,
and write you down for this?
And it looks fantastic. It just works. I mean, for me, a lot of the cars, and maybe the Italia, the 458 is doing this a little bit, maybe the Gallardo's this way a little bit, maybe a lot of the stuff, although I don't think the Murcielago's this way with the, as far as the Lamborghini goes.
New one,
a lot of them are just getting a little bit too streamlined, a little bit too, stealth fighter, a little bit too F-22 Raptor, like a little Gennaro something, missing a little of that just je ne sais quoi, the crazy
and it seems
flair.
like the design motif of all these cars is very angular, where this one is much softer and rounder.
Yeah, a little more of the bar soap. Yeah.
Like you said, it's been out for years and it doesn't feel dated. It still feels way futuristic to me.
Yes. All right.
So this one is
150,000.
But with all these bits, we got 185,000.
So we got 30 grand worth of
$10,000 worth of brakes. But here's the deal: 8-piston front.
8-piston
carbon ceramic brakes.
You're just showing off now with the 8-piston.
Like, do you need the extra two? I don't know.
No, and you don't even need the carbon ceramic brakes either. But listen, all cool stuff to talk about.
Let's fire it up and open the hatch.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I'm going to give it some revs, and then we'll take a look at the engine too, which is pretty nice, but all in the muscle.
How high is it letting you go?
I still went to about 7,000.
7,000.
Yeah, the rev limiter is kicking in at 7,000 as it sits.
All right, let's look at it.
So like I was saying before, this car has so much carbon fiber, just the sail panels, the engine. It's got $15,000 worth of carbon fiber on it. You don't have to get it.
Did a
it looks awesome.
very nice job in this engine compartment. I mean, the fiber, the knobs are nice, the plenum's beautiful.
Get some marshmallows out here.
Yeah.
This thing is cooking.
It's hot anyway, and now it's really hot. The
little wing comes
all fiberglass, all carbon fiber airbox, really cool. The wing that
Let's see if there's a switch for that.
You think there's a manual? I guess there is a manual.
There is, so you can clean under it.
Oh. I'm sorry for sounding gay, but
you totally
yes, you can clean under it. That makes sense, because if it only came up at 65 miles an hour, how would you ever get your boy to detail it?
Yeah, actually it comes up at 65, so on your way home on that back road, when the cop sees the wing up, he'd be like, yeah, you're not doing 30. We know what you were doing.
I love the Star Drive, or the, not the Star Drive, well, the spline drive or star drive, like all the stainless steel. Car companies finally got it, which is car guys really like what a car looks like under the hood, and you putting a big piece of plastic, like a big plastic trash can lid under there that just said Cadillac in the middle of it, and it was made out of plastic, but it was supposed to be aluminum.
Dealer only.
Yeah, that wasn't cutting it. We love the aluminum. We love again, they took time and they made the right fittings, the right nut and bolt selection, all the fluid caps and all that kind of stuff. I like the probably nice oil fill, and I'm guessing that's for the engine oil. God knows where the dipstick is, but the oil fill's really.
You know what?
Really
some of these cars they don't need a dipstick anymore. They just go by the gauge. It'll just fire it up and say, hey, you're low on something, and then
interesting.
You could top it off in an emergency, or then mostly it's for the dealer, but at least they show it off.
All right, I'm gonna go drink a soda. You guys look around the car, and until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Matt the Motorator, DeAndrea, saying keep the air in the spare and the bag in the wheel.